I call this meeting of the Perryton Independent School District to order, that the records show that a quorum of board members are present, and that this meeting has been duly called, and notice this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, Government Code, Chapter 551. Let's have a word of prayer. Our gracious and loving Father, we thank you so much for the blessings you bestow upon us. We thank you, Lord, for this district, for its administration, for its teachers, and our students. We ask a special blessing on them as they go through this school year. Be with them, guide, guard, and direct them. Lord, help us tonight as board members to open our minds and our hearts to things that are to the best interest of this school. These things we say in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, we're now into our open forum. Remember, we have 5 people signed up,
Yes, we do, all of us.
and all concerning soccer. What we're going to do tonight, we're going to hear from each one of you on your presentation. You will be allowed 2 minutes, okay? So, Eric is first. That's the one I have here, okay? Let me get set, Eric, and...
Is there no microphone this thing? Right there.
You're right there, you can get close to that mic.
Okay.
There
1
you go.
second. Again, under the same thing, the board will not answer any questions and will not converse, we will just listen, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're ready for you to start, Eric. Go right ahead.
Well, first of all, hello, good evening. Thank you for everyone gathering here today. I'm Eric Garcia, and by now you know what I'm here for and what all these people are here for tonight. We are here for the introduction and implementation of a soccer program at Perryton High School. We gathered here roughly about a month ago, and within that time, an extraordinary amount of process never seen before occurred. Data was collected, outside districts were contacted, and meetings were held. The district held a survey, and the data shows 223 students are interested in soccer, that being 139 boys and 84 girls. That's about 1/3 of the high school student population. It would just be wrong to ignore these students. 2 meetings were also held, that being a committee meeting and a community meeting. The community meeting was a complete and total success. Nothing less than support was showed at this meeting. So with that being said, school board members, teachers, students, parents, and community members, it is time soccer comes to Perryton. Not only is it good for kids, it is good for our community. A season is feasible, but not just any season, a UIL season. Please be the people that change Perryton High School for the better. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Okay. Next one up is Ira? I'm sorry, my pronunciation. Ira?
Yes.
Ira? Okay, sorry. Let me get reset here. All right, you're ready to go.
Good evening. My name is Iram Castillo. I'm a freshman in high school. I want to start off with saying I coach Kevin Cummings' team. Their grades vary from kindergarten to 3rd grade, roughly around there. They're great kids, really good. They have passion, potential. They love to show up to practices. They're on time. They play in Borger. They're in the U12 league. My older kids, my oldest one there is 10 years old. They're an incredible team. I seen them play. They lost, but it was a good game. I also have a team that's entered in the U8, also in Borger. They're great. They won 6-1, I believe. Yes, 6-1. They're really, really, really good. They're the future of Perryton Rangers. Second is the behavior. I've seen the teammates, I've seen the kids that I coach. They're great. They're great kids. Good behavior all the time. They show respect to each other. They talk as if they were brothers. They're a family. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, we now have Tony.
Maybe pushing the time limit, but I'll try my best to get all this in the 2 minutes.
That'll be fine. Say what you have to say.
Okay.
All right, are you ready to go?
Yes, sir. Good evening, everybody. First and foremost, I would like to thank everybody here for setting aside time in their day to be here. My name is Efrain Antonio Cervantes. Most of you may know me as Tony. I currently participate in NHS AP classes, as well as 2 dual credit classes with Frank Phillips College. I also play on the varsity football team and have been on the 1-act cast for all 4 years of my high school career, and will be taking the lead role in this year's play. Today I'm here asking a couple of questions. My first being, after all you have witnessed this past few months, how could you guys say no? As of today, we have disputed all arguments some members on the board have proposed as to why we should not have this program. One major argument being that we would not pass our classes. Eric Garcia, Julian Rivero, and I are all in the top 10% of our class. The players on this team are educated, very well respected young men. Another being that we, whatever that means, could not stay out of trouble. You can ask any person standing here, hired, even the ones hired by you all. You can even ask our athletic director. He said it himself. He had no doubt regarding our discipline. Sorry. People of Perryton, we have the facilities, the students, the talent, and a strong community behind us. We simply ask you to let us play and compete within the UIL. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, I originally came here solely to state the fair shot that Mr. Morales had promised us, to state the findings of the fair shot. But I have one final question to ask you all.
You have 15 seconds.
Engage, educate, empower everyone, every day. You can find this quote on the front of the Perryton ISD website. I would like to challenge the school board on the meaning of every single one of those words. Engage. To occupy, attract, or involve.
Time's up.
Good job.
Good job. Okay, next we have Julian.
Alright.
Take off.
Alright. Good evening. My name is Julian Rivero. I'm a senior in high school. I've been a part of the athletic program for as long as I could, so since 7th grade. I thank all the individuals here supporting us, especially those that have been with us since day one. I thank y'all for everything. By now, we could all acknowledge the desire we have for soccer, and I also want to re-advise y'all that this is a program that will not die. Simply, it will keep on growing and growing. I feel as we've done everything y'all have asked for in a polite way, and everything now lies at y'all's hands. I'm sure y'all have really deeply thought about considering implementing a program such as this one, because I know it's not just something you could say, alright, or have it. Well, this whole process has been surreal. It feels like as if we're in a movie and we're just awaiting the finale. And y'all are the directors, as y'all get to decide the finale for us. Well, this program isn't just for us. It is for the future generation. It is for the kids here looking up for us. It is so that they don't have to come years to come doing the same thing what we're doing right now, having to face adversity, having to struggle to get a program such as this. It is to unite a community. It is so many individuals could have an escape from reality as they face struggles every day in life. It is so people could feel safe and loved. It is to be part of a school and represent it.
30 seconds.
And I really hope that y'all consider this. And I thank y'all for y'all's time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Last one I have is Josue. When you're ready to start, you have 2 minutes, okay?
Good evening, my name is Josue Avalos. I'm a sophomore in high school. I just want to start off saying that thank y'all for being here, thank y'all for listening to us. I just want to say that it is very difficult to manage our work and our high school because if we had soccer in high school, our work would be more lenient on that fact. On Sunday leagues, I can't really go because of work. I have no chance to be there since early in the morning. Having this sport in high school is our escape. Like Julie said, this can be our way of escape. Like, we can't find our escape in other sports. This is why most of us just join in soccer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I will announce that this item of soccer is under our discussion and action items, section 8A. Because of the number of people and the interest in this tonight, we're going to move that item. We will move it after our executive session, personnel matters, so you're not going to have to stay here all night, okay? For now, we're going to go into our public hearing regarding our financial integrity system of Texas, or FIRST. Doug, we'll open the public hearing meeting now.
Y'all are our public, if y'all didn't know that, so here is our. Pass those out to everybody.
Share the pain.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. We'll call the public hearing on our school first rating for, this is for the fiscal year ending August 31st, 2020. This is, there's two sections to that. First is a compliance report that we're required to include two. And the first section includes the superintendent's employment contract, and that is disclosed on our website, which meets that compliance there. And then we have to report reimbursements received by the superintendent and board members or things paid on their behalf. And there were various amounts of board training there on equipment items and on expenses for the superintendents that included, during this period of time, there were two superintendents, obviously. Dr. Little and Mr. Realize were all here there. So the total for the superintendents in these categories is $12,793.56. And the board members, 35 and 50. A couple of them had some training items there. There were no outside compensation received by the superintendent for any professional consulting. There were no gifts received by any executive officers who qualified for this reporting, and then no business transactions were completed between the school district and any board members. So there too. The next section is our school first ratings report. There is, you can see all the different criteria there. There are 20 different criteria there, and y'all can read those different amounts there, but we are pleased to report that the district received 100, which is a perfect score. We had 100 compliance. We were in compliance with every single category there on the report. So that's obviously our goal, and so we're pleased with that. I think we've given y'all a previous item on that before. So if y'all have any questions at all about any of the categories or the report or any of the compliance reports, now is your chance to ask. Hearing no comments from the public, I will close the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Doug, we want to thank you for your service and for your dedication. This is an excellent report, excellent rating, and it's a result of your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay. The board will now convene in a closed meeting to discuss the following items posted on our agenda this evening as allowed by Texas Government Code, that being personnel matters, Government Code Section 551.074. No voting will take place in the closed meeting. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of discussions in closed session will take place after the board reconvenes in the open meeting. It is now 6:15. It's 6:47. As approved stated, we're moving from our discussion items, our action items, number 8A, discussion of possible action on starting the soccer program at PHS to right now. Mr. Morales?
Okay, the way I like to start this out, guys, is there's been a lot of chatter out on social media and in different places and what's going on. So I have kept up with some of it, not all of it, but I do want to clarify some things for people that may have been confused on what went on and what didn't happen. So I'm going to start off with informing the board here for some clarification. The first one is you need to know when soccer starts. It's in late November the 29th. It goes through March 22nd. And then if you make the playoffs, it can go all the way to April 13th. So that's kind of the length of the season and when the season's played. We would need to apply to our 4A districts who already have schedules. I'm going to let Coach Hab kind of take over a little bit here now and tell you what all he's found out and what all he's researched on soccer.
The information I've gathered from our district, which would be Pampa, Borger, Dumas, Canyon, and Perryton. Hereford doesn't have it yet. 3 of those 4 had a lot of questions about going UIL this year because they're on the second year of their biennium, and redrawing districts and them losing home games and things like that. That's their biggest qualm. Making sure that also we would have sub-varsities, which I told them we would have sub-varsities, especially on the boys' side. We know we will. And then if we would play a full season, and yes, we would play a full season. But anyway, they had Dumas, Borger, and Canyon had some apprehension on redrawing district home sites and away sites and resetting the district schedule in the second year of the whole deal. That's what I found out with them. We would still have to go through the UIL and get approved by the UIL, so it wouldn't matter. I mean, we would go that route first and then to the district, but I've already reached out to the district to get a straw poll on that.
So what you're trying to tell me is that we could apply to the district and we're not sure whether or not they would even allow us to
Right,
do
yeah,
that?
they're not.
If they don't vote, a majority vote, then we don't?
Right.
And you said what's the number now?
3 out of the 4.
3 out of the 4 say no because they forgot
They
their
have
schedule.
apprehension. I mean, it hasn't been a formal vote, but it was.
So when could we apply for that, or when would we apply for that? Right now, tomorrow, next?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Okay.
We
And-
have a meeting in progress, but they've already expressed that, and so that I can bring that information here tonight. Even if they said, I mean, it would still have to go by the UIL.
This year, but next year, if you
Next
do,
year,
they
we're-
would have to take it.
They have to take it, yeah.
This year, they don't have to.
They don't have to.
Is Hereford gonna get it? Or
They're
they
talking
get it?
about
I talked to Sue at Hereford and she said it's
They're
coming.
working on it.
No question, next year, they would have to take us.
Yes.
This year, they have to, it's their choice.
Right.
Because they already have schedules.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, is there anything else you want to add to any of your other research? Okay, thank you.
And we only get to play a district schedule this year? Is that the way I'm on?
No, I think you could play, if we play an outlaw schedule, you could play
Well, if you
Guyman.
go to UIL.
Oh, if you go UIL.
You play a full schedule,
Okay.
no matter what. I mean, you still have your pre-district,
So it's just whoever wants to play you, you can go play.
yeah. But those schedules are also
Yeah. Already said.
All right, thanks, Coach Hab. The next thing, 56 boys that are already playing football are interested in playing soccer. To me, that's a positive a little bit because they understand structure, commitment, dedication, all of those things. 16 girl basketball players are interested in playing soccer. I have a little fear there that it may hurt our girls' basketball program depending on who they were or who they what they choose. I just don't know how you would share soccer players and basketball players. I don't know if that's ever been done. 21 boy basketball players are interested in playing soccer. Again, it depends on who the boys are and who would do that. 23 boys powerlifters are interested in playing soccer. Now, I do see that one being able to cooperate with each other and still get that done if that happened. 21 girl powerlifters are interested in playing soccer. I do need everybody to remember this. Remember only that usually you can only have 20 players on a team. We had 140 boys show up at the school meeting that said they wanted to play soccer. You would still have to have cuts, so only 40 boys, varsity and JV, would actually get to play. Does that make sense? So 100 boys would be out, because we do that with every sport. We have cuts with every sport that we have. Girls, there were 50 girls that showed up, so only 10 girls would be out, and that's if you had a varsity and a JV. So I will say most people that start beginning programs, even trying to start schools, they work their way up. They play a JV schedule for a few years, then they play a varsity, and then pretty soon they're all varsity. But anyway, I just wanted to put those numbers out in front of you. Only 4A teams can play soccer. According to UIL, anything lower than 4A cannot play soccer. I guess they could appeal to try and be a 3A playing a 4A league, but you have to at least be a 4A school, so it'd be Pampa, Borger, Dumas, and Canyon. And right now, Canyon, only Canyon High is the 4A, but I think next year Randall will be a 4A, Canyon High will be a 4A, and then the new school will be a 4A. They'll have 3 4A schools, so all 3 of those schools will have soccer programs, my guess. Realignment happens in February.
First Monday in February.
And that's when this district here then could have possibly, if Hereford came in, you could have 8 teams that play soccer next year if everything happened. But we would have to apply before February.
Yeah, it's January 15th.
January 15th, we would have to apply to be UIL if we did that. 74% or 223 students who showed interest in soccer are already in some type of UIL sport. Again, I said that makes me feel better about the dedication, the commitment, and the eligibility of our kids. If they're already doing it in sports and proving that to us, I wouldn't know why they wouldn't do it in soccer. So that's a good one. Students are passionate about it now, and the reason I say now, because I coached for many years. I'm not sure how well we're going to be in the middle of the winter. I mean, my first experience was soccer in the Texas Panhandle. I went to a Pampa basketball game, and I'm talking about January, December, and the football lights are on, and I look over, and they're playing soccer, and it was 18 degrees. And I was going into the gym, and I'm going, man, that's going to be cold, you know. So it's going to take some dedication and commitment to do that. I'm just telling you, it's going to take that. So that's another reason I'm going to come up with a proposal that I have. Experiment to see, you know, if we're really serious about it. Some of our students have jobs and need to work. This could affect play. Also, is another question in my head, because some of these kids do help their families make it. So that's another question. Presently, we have no coaches. There are possibilities of coaches. Again, I cannot go out and feel good about hiring 4 new soccer coaches when I have cut the last 2 years at least 10 to 15 teachers through attrition. And I can't feel good about doing that and then adding 4 new positions. So it would have to be stipend based with somebody that's already in our system, and then we pay them a stipend, and then it would not be that expensive a deal for the school. No dressing rooms. If we have basketball games the same night we have soccer, and we're just saying we're on the field, there's not going to be no place to dress. That's an issue. I don't know if Coach can figure that out, but
They're not in.
we'll put that on his shoulders. I'm just going to say this now. I think if we do this, guys, we need to use Ranger Field, because it already has the lighting, it has the stands, it has the restrooms. I mean, it has everything. Scoreboard, that's another big one.
Clock, I mean, everything's there.
Has a clock. Everything's there. If we did it somewhere else, we would have to find a way to do that.
Well, I mean, you'd have to, just based on lights.
Yeah, just based on, yeah.
It's dark at 6 that time.
Yeah, at that time of year, it's dark, real dark early. But the other thing is, and we've done some investigation, matter of fact, they've done investigation for me, there is a washable paint that you can paint on your football field, and then it washes off and leaves no scarring or anything like that. So you would have to paint soccer lines on it, and then they play soccer, and then after soccer, you'd wash the lines off, and we'd go from there.
Who would do that?
Coach Hab.
Yeah, I don't see that being a big deal. Cowboy Stadium, they have the 6-man state championship there the week before all the other state championships, and you can't even see it.
So would you paint them once and leave them on the whole winter? Would you have to?
Yeah, and then if we needed to reapply them, we'd just like we did.
Every time it rains or when wind blows hard.
Does it come, do you have to get a pressure washer to get off? Does that affect?
No, we won't use a pressure washer.
That's what
Because you got rubber underneath
Yeah, I
it.
know, that's what I don't want.
That's what all the professionals use and college use on their fields.
Because
that kind of thing.
you think about that, every college team paints the end zone of the team they're playing, and they wash it off every week.
Just regular water hose?
I've never done it. I don't know, but I will just say this: we will investigate it enough to know that we're not going to damage our current field by doing that.
But your recommendation is on our field.
Yeah, my recommendation is we play on that field. if we decide to play.
I agree.
Okay. Currently, we have no soccer goals, and I'm sure if you play against these other teams, they're going to want regulation soccer goals. I don't know if there's any in town
They can be made.
that can be made.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what I've done in the past, I did this for 15 years. You just push them back underneath your goalposts, and then there's your soccer goals, and you do it each end. Our football field is a little bit narrow with the way we did our track, but I still think their out of bounds lines will be about 3 feet inside our curbs.
The last time we measured it, it just barely fit inside the inside lane to where teams on the sidelines will be sent on the track.
Yeah.
But the field itself just
Would
squeezed
be in
but it
on
did
turf.
fit.
And there are a couple of places, I think, Coach Hab, you're gonna have to, where it's
Yeah,
uncovered.
there's, the electric outlets that have the steel covers over. Are you sure that regulations on it? Because I read that it's 75 yards wide. Is that right? Regulation, that was the diagram I found. Or is that
It's
is that
55 to
a,
75.
okay, so it can be anywhere in between
There's
there.
no like exact thing,
Oh, okay, okay.
exact measurement like there is in other sports.
Okay, good. So we can move it inside the.
Okay.
So we can have less than 75 yards
Yes.
to make it safe.
Yeah.
We would measure it ourselves to make sure, and you have 3 or 4 feet inside both sides that they can stand on the turf, and you can still play soccer inside those lines.
The sideline to sideline is 53 1/3 yards, and it's 10 yards.
Outside.
I mean, it's 5 yards.
It's 5 yards on each side.
Each side, yes.
Okay. Yep.
So it's
All right.
30 total.
One of the things I don't want to do is rush into anything. We need to plan, we need to budget, we need to bring it in correctly because I'd rather it be a successful long-term program than us to rush into something and cause something not to work good. Major and minor sports, here, I'm gonna already tell you guys that they're in place, and I don't know if you understand major and minor sports. To me, a major sport, and the only reason I'm saying this, is football and boys and girls basketball to me are major sports. Every other sport is a minor sport. Okay, in my opinion, because that's where people go, that's where the pressure is on the coaches. That's what it ends up being. And I don't know if you agree in that, but anyway, I'd say that. I'm going to tell you one of the things I had to do. Ex-football coach, I had to get over myself, which is hard to do, 25 years of that. Because what I always think about is what I like. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is what I like. So the question is, and I'm going to put it out in front of y'all, what makes one sport more valuable than others?
They're all equal.
Now, if it's a major sport, I see that.
They're all equal.
I know, but I'm just saying because of who shows up and the pressure applied. But I agree with you. I'm just saying we have to ask ourselves that. I've always been asked when I was an AD by the kids, especially the girls, and I'll say that because there's been a lot of stuff out there. Boys sports get more money, football gets more money and stuff. Guys, fair is not always equal. That makes sense to you? Fair is not always equal. If you got a lot of numbers, you're going to spend more money, more participants, stuff like that. You got less. The girls will always say, Mr. Morales, nobody comes and watches us play. Well, if it's not a sport that everybody likes and enjoys, just the average town person won't go watch it play. You know what I'm saying? If you got a kid, you're going to go watch it. Yeah, then it becomes a major sport for you. But we have people go watch football games that have no grandkids or kids here. They still do that. They still go watch basketball, no grandkids. It's hard to get them to go to other sports. I'm just telling you.
Do any of the sports programs make money?
There are no sports programs that make money. The closest two are football and basketball as far as gate. Every other sport that we run in this,
So not looking
in our
for that.
system is a losing proposition. Because there's not enough gate, not enough crowd there to pull in money. I'm just saying, there's your money man. Would you agree with that, Coach Happ?
Yes, yeah.
And
And that's not just Perryton, that's, unless you're South Lake Carroll or Katy or Austin Westlake, you're not making money in football games. I mean, Emerald High's not making money in football games. Emerald Tascosa game, they do. They charge $10 a ticket and 13,000 people show up. So-
And I did have somebody recommend that we start charging more so we can make more money, but I just want everybody to understand that fair is not all, it's not always equal. You've got to understand that. I do hear the kids cry here for the simple fact that as they've come here, and I'm as guilty as anybody else, we want them to play football, basketball, track, baseball, softball. We want that. But what's natural to these kids is soccer. That's the sport they love. They have assimilated into our sports in America, because it is America, right? They have assimilated, but they really don't love those. Would y'all agree? They don't really love those sports. So I have to look at that also. I've heard a lot of comments out there that I want to get straightened out. Perryton takes really good care of their sports and provides well. I kept hearing that we don't do. Guys, the previous superintendent before me did research on this, and as a 4-H school, we're spending more on athletics than most 4-H schools. I'm just telling you, we take very good care of our athletics and our sports.
That's just because we fund it all.
Yeah, because we fund it all. Some schools don't.
We travel a lot further a little bit too.
We're the furthest thing north.
We are.
Well, we travel. We
Yeah.
have to travel. That's
But
what
I'm
they
just
do.
saying, we take real good care of it, and our community takes real good care of our sports. Our booster clubs take real good care. I've been places where they're going to eat every time it's at McDonald's, or they're going to eat, you know what I'm saying? We're not eating really well. But I'm just telling you that we do a good job here. So I did not appreciate some of those comments. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you this too. This is not that important to me, but winning and losing has a lot to do with interest. Guys, I've been to communities where basketball season's going on, and the girls were very good and won a lot of state championships, and the crowd would go in and watch the girls, and then when the boys played, they would leave. That's the first thing to prove to me that winning makes a difference. Winning makes a difference in attendance anyway. I'm going to say this with these kids here. I realize that some of our best soccer players are seniors this year that we have. I understand that. And they want to play UIL so they can continue playing. I don't know if that's reason enough for me to recommend that we go UIL because I'm looking at the long haul. I'm looking at planning, budgeting, and doing it right if we do it, not rush into it. I will say this, if we do, whatever we do, they're going to leave a legacy because they're saying this is like a movie. I feel like I'm living a movie on what I'm trying to do and how to do it. So they will leave a legacy. They'll plant a tree for shade for somebody else later on. And what I'm looking for tonight is a win-win situation for the kids and for the district and for the community. Okay? So that's the informational sheet. Here's my recommendation. Here's the important place. Okay, play club soccer for a year to see if we can sustain it without spending a lot of money, throwing a lot of money on it. Do an outlaw schedule with other local teams so we can see how we would do against those local teams. We use UIL rules to determine whether students can stay eligible, to see if students can play during the cold months, basically to just check and see how soccer is going to go. We evaluate not even after that year, after a little time, evaluate it, and then if we determine when we go UIL, we start making all the applications for UIL and talk to those district teams and see if they'll let us in. Buying uniforms is an expense. I keep hearing that there's going to be donated money. I'm not sure how much, but I think we could use some of that to cut the costs on uniforms. Local games played on our turf field, Ranger Field. As soon as you all make a decision tonight, Coach Hab will get on the phone and he'll do his best he can to put a schedule together, if that's what we choose to do. I like the use of their club soccer coaches now, not only for the cost, but because we don't have any for UIL. And I think the kids' chances of doing well would be staying with their regular coach right now.
James, does that include the schedule, include home games?
Well, if we go UIL, if you all decide and say, hey, you want to go UIL, you don't go with me, then I think all the games would have to be away. Is that correct?
If we redraw the districts, then we would have some home games.
You're talking about redrawing district in February?
No, well.
No, we're talking about,
You're talking about just.
we're talking about November 29th. Make a decision to apply for UIL in January, which Coach Hab already said that. I think we do this for a 3-year trial period. We look and see how the kids are doing. We look to see if it's hurting any other sports. We look at whether we can still afford it. But I think it deserves a 3-year trial period. That's my recommendation.
Is that after we go UIL?
What?
Is that after we go UIL, or is that including UIL?
No, that's one club, 2 UIL. And then soccer tournaments, I think we do just like the other schools that are doing it now. Dumas and Canyon, they pay for one soccer tournament a year for them to go because they go down south where it's warmer to go play. And then they raise funds for the other 2 tournaments to be able to go to those. So that's my recommendation on that.
PISD funds the travel at that point.
Just for the one tournament. And then I think the young man said it better earlier. Does it fit our mission and vision and core values? The question I always ask when I had to make hard decisions like this one, it's a very difficult decision, is it good for kids and is it good for our community? And so I'm asking those questions of you all. I will say this. I do not think we want to guess whether it would hurt or help with any other sport. I think we need to give it a fair look and let that be the deciding factor.
Mr. Morales, we talked about travel to not tournaments, like just a regular game.
Yeah.
But
No, yeah, we did, and I'm glad you said that. I do think the board needs to fund travel vehicle, buses and meals for those kids. I think if we get to that cost sheet, I don't know how many of you remember that cost sheet. We pay for the paint, $500. We pay for girls and boys travel. I think that's $6,000 a piece. Scoreboard worker and an announcer. So I'm thinking if I just had to throw a rough figure out there, I would say $25,000 probably to be able to do all that.
Per club.
Huh?
No,
for soccer all the way around, boys, girls.
What about goals? How much goals cost?
$6,500.
Goals will be free. If they're made here in town, there'll be regulation, they'll be made free. No charge to the school.
I'd really be interested to see how much the community would get behind this and how much people would actually donate. And we may not even be out
I think,
25.
I think we'll be surprised at how strong the community support is on donations. May come from some different directions than we've seen in the past. But I think we'll be well supported in the community.
And I did talk to Doug about this earlier. They can donate to the school district and get a tax write-off through the school district if that's what they want to do. But anyway, that's my good question, Coach Abbott. Is there anything else I missed through that?
Just, anything that's donated like that kind of stuff, we need to make sure that it's made, well, like with wheels so it can be moved.
Yes.
Preferably aluminum, if you know aluminum welding, that'd be even better.
Yeah, usually they have wheels and they have a jack-up deal on it where the wheels.
If it's an iron
go up
pipe,
there.
then we're gonna have to get
Yeah.
front end loader.
They won't be.
Be part of the weight program, right?
All right, I'll entertain any questions. The stuff I didn't answer through that long speech.
James, I have a few things I'd like to address. First of all, I've sat on that side of it, guys and parents, and the thing I want y'all to know is that your voices are being heard, that we're listening to what the community is wanting, and hats off to you, James, and the committee, because I think y'all have done an excellent job bringing a lot of things together to try to figure out what we need and how to bring this together. And I'm also proud of our boys and girls. You know, this is just one obstacle or one thing that you faced in your life early on, and there's going to be many other things that come beyond high school. You know, just life in general. And I'm proud of y'all for standing up and laying some of the groundwork for the future of soccer for the Rangers and Rangerettes. I'm in favor of UIL soccer only. I don't feel going the other direction. I just don't feel that that's good. I also want us to do this the right way from the start. I want it to represent Perryton well, and I don't think we want to do it second rate. That's my opinion. We don't have coaches. If we go UIL, we don't have coaches. We don't have a field, but you know, those issues, some of those issues are being addressed. We talked about it. Mr. Morales, you brought some of that stuff up. No equipment, no uniforms, facilities with all of the non-athletes, boys and girls, based on the survey that we did. That's roughly 57 or 58 kids. And you can tell me, I mean, we don't have the facilities for those extra kids if we were to go full swing for UIL. Is that correct?
Right, and into that same athletic period, we don't have room
Right.
in our locker rooms, in our weight room.
Yeah. So basically what I'm saying too is I think if we're going to do this, we do it right from the beginning. We fit the bill as the school and take care of this sport like we would any other sport, is my opinion. And with that, I think we set aside some funds for UIL soccer, and we amend this year's budget for those funds, and we continue to move forward for UIL soccer, but for next year, based on all the things that are variables that we have to get ready for.
I think with having to start within a month, who would coach? If we went club, Kevin, who would coach?
Juan Arroyo, we have Josue, Enrique, me. We have about 5 coaches that can coach boys and girls. My wife could have. We have plenty of people here. I've talked to the men's league. We have 8 different teams. 6 of those are from here, and nearly every one of them said they'll help in any way. We also have 2 other women, his aunt, Mary, and a lady named Letty, and actually Karen. So we have 3 or 4 women coaches, and I know at least 4 definite men coaches that can do it. And we already do it for free nearly every single night of the week anyway, so yeah, we do it now. We do also have goals that are being donated. I've talked to 2 different people that will donate the full cost of uniforms, and we have $15,000 raised as of this moment. So we will continue to do fundraisers throughout the year, and all those fundraisers will go through Chase Your Dream for a nonprofit, and we will give it directly to either Booster or the school fund, however they want us to do it, and all of that will go straight to the school to help with any cost that you may have.
I agree with Noon on everything that he said. The time frame is what gets me on the whole thing. I'm not against soccer or anything like that. I'm all in, but I think we need, in my opinion, a lot more time to get into this. I mean, we're rushing into something that.
And I hate it for the seniors.
All the hidden things are gonna pop up.
Yeah, because I know y'all are good, and I've talked to some people. I've had a lot of people come talk to me, but we want to, in my opinion, we want to do it right. We want to set the groundwork. Y'all have definitely done the groundwork, and it'll be good for the school district.
Well, I don't think anybody on the board or Mr. Morales or Coach Avatar feels we don't need it at all. It's how we do it is going to be the difference.
Time frame.
Because I think to do it this year is pretty rough. It's a rush, and it's not fair to the kids. It's not fair to the seniors. Even if we do put a season together, I don't know if it's going to be scrambled the whole year, in my opinion. But I think we all agree I'm open to soccer.
Yeah, I am too.
I think sports there.
I think the time frame is just, we're cramming in something in 30 days, and we're gonna start getting a bunch of hidden problems pop up every meeting we're
And
at.
Coach Hab, the conversation you had with the other coaches or the other ADs in the other districts, the 3 that were questionable, I mean, do we not have to have a complete consensus in order to move forward with UIL?
What do you mean?
From each district?
It would just have to be a majority.
A majority.
Yeah, 3 out of 4 would have to say yes, and then the other one is just.
You don't have to go any further than our district, our 5 districts.
No,
just your own district.
Just your own district. And then approval by the UIL head office too.
Yeah. But you don't have to go further than just the district, not 5 districts.
No.
That's where it stops.
But as far as moving after this year, they have no choice.
They have no choice.
Yeah, once we
We're
get in
in,
the
we're in.
district, once we get in the district, then we're just in.
I think they should be able to play club ball this year, since they got the money raised already. They got 15,000, so it's gonna be roughly 25,000. They just need 10,000 more.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the funding. I think from what I hear around town, talking to everybody I'm talking to, that you're gonna be.
Yeah, I'm
there's
just
enough
saying,
funds
just
there.
let them play this year, and then while they're playing, work on getting UIL and getting all the other stuff finalized.
Yeah.
Just let them
We're
play.
stamping our name on it too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
their
less
uniforms
worried
will say
about that.
Perryton
Yeah,
High
we're stamping
School.
our name on it too, you know.
So I'm not sure what I see by not going club ball the first year here and then aiming at UIL and going through the UIL application in February. I'm not sure what we're doing with that. I understand we want to do it right, but I'm not sure that everybody's still playing here. I'm not sure I would not think we ought to follow James's recommendation and go ahead and support club ball this year as a step to get to where we want to be a year from now.
I'm kind of with Lloyd here. First of all, there's been some kind of misconception that I'm against soccer. As far from it, I had lots of questions about it. As a matter of fact, I've got a notebook at home, and as we've answered those questions, tick them off. This is my 12th year on the board, and the whole time, the only reason I've been on this board is for kids. I think this program will reach how our community is now, okay? And the kids we have now. However we decide to do it is the question. Personally am a planner. I was a CFO for years. I spent my last several years as a bank president, and planning was a big part of my job. So there's an old saying out there from John Wooden, basketball coach for UCLA, planning to plan is preparing to fail. So to me, I'm kind of conservative, so I'm worried about this timeline going full blank right off the bat. But I want it recorded here tonight that I'm for these kids, and if we can get all these kinks worked out, I see no reason why we can't be playing soccer by next year. I can't. I'm sorry.
Joe, do you not think the year of club is going to help line out a bunch of those kinks?
Oh, yeah, I'm saying,
Okay.
I'm for the club deal, okay? Till we get our planning going, and then we move forward with the UIL deal and go. Yeah, I'm all for bringing it on right now as a club thing.
Well, and I want to say a couple other things, everybody hear this. You know, a lot of times we'll get mandates from the state, and they'll provide a one-year funding. So it's this, we need, when we aim at this, it needs to be for a multi-year program, right? So your younger brothers and sisters and my neighbors and everybody else, we're gonna set this up so that it succeeds in the long run, and we'll work it into the budget. And we had a hard year this year on the budget. We cut $500,000 out of the budget and cut positions and everything else. So our timing's not real good here. I think next year's gonna be a little bit better, but I don't know that for sure. So I think dealing with the budget that's actually in front of us with the money that we're gonna have to spend this year, that puts kind of a cap on it. So we wanna build it for down the road. I think we need to take a step, and we need to get there, I think, as fast as possible. Everybody that I talked to this last 2-3 weeks, month, are sure, we're gonna have good participation, good results out of the whole thing. I don't doubt that, guys, okay? So I think, and even though I wouldn't go out and put shorts on and play soccer in the middle of winter, okay? That's a little crazy, but okay. But I think we need to take that step, and I think that we need to get this ball rolling. And I'm not worried about the funding, I'm not worried about kids having problems, I'm not worried that if they do, that's on them. I'm also not worried about the number of kids I see playing that I know are at the top of their classes and stuff. We don't have those problems. Now, if everybody quits, I played 1 year soccer, and it was a losing soccer team. I can tell you some of the stories there that were particularly embarrassing. And it's hard to play on losing teams sometimes, but if the dedication is there, which I believe it is, then I think the results will come. And James, even on the point about what's a minor sport, what's a major sport, I can't tell that. Success will build that.
Oh, you're right.
And
Success
so
will build.
success, I mean, winning program here, if you said, this may affect Tyler here a little bit, but if we said we're gonna be the #1 soccer team in the Texas Panhandle here in 3 years, I think that'll attract everything, and I'll bet we're surprised at the response. Who knows what the major one is 5 years from now?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
would
I'm just,
operate on a major and minor schedule. I can tell you that.
Okay.
I can't. I mean, my coaches, I can't go look at a coach and go, well, you're a minor sport coach.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. That's
No, I-
morale built.
Yeah,
no, I-
so-
no, I don't say that. I'm just saying the pressure that we get from the public is
Yeah, I
those
just
two,
think
is
we
those
don't-
two sports.
Yeah, James, I understand what you're saying. I just don't think we don't know. And I think we need to allow this a chance to succeed or fail. Okay, and that's what I see and again, I think I agree with Lloyd saying this, that we weren't, what Newton was saying, that this is gonna be a rush to get into UIL, and there's a bunch of things we're gonna have to, we don't even know if we'll get past the barriers on the schools and all this kind of stuff. I don't know exactly what they do. We don't have the coaches, that are, and I think Wes has got some UIL rules and coaches, so we're not prepared for that stuff, but we will be a year from now.
Yeah, a year from now.
So in February, we can make a decision on whether this thing is gonna take off like a rocket, and I hope it does.
Well, I have a lot of faith in these guys, and the thing that helps me the most is they're already in athletics. That's the big thing. They're telling me they're committed, they're dedicated, they know what it takes. They know what it takes. Dalhart right now, I talked to Dalhart Super right prior to this meeting, and they have club soccer in Dalhart, and he says they have a hard time getting kids out and stuff. They were trying to go after the students that were not engaged, and that's who was playing their soccer, and they were having a hard time keeping the kids out. We don't have that problem. These are our athletes already. So I don't see that being a problem or an issue.
Well, I think, in your defense, James, the major and minor was kind of in saying that we're not, because there's been some references to football and budgets and everything.
Oh, yeah.
We're not gonna take from another sport
Right.
that's already implemented to fund another sport just because people want it. We need to figure out how to make it all work.
Well, I think
Because it's all for the kids.
Yeah, and I think we take a good look at it before that UIL application. We'll know, guys, that, what kind of response we're getting. And then we can make it a normal budget item and a recurring budget item, so we actually fund the program going forward for multiple years, and it becomes that budget item. We don't have to worry about how we're gonna get funding this year, or gonna hit the community. Again, I'm not worried this year. From everybody I'm talking to in town, Chris, it's a done deal. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Wes, did you say something, Wes?
Surprisingly, no.
That's what's bothering me. Wes did not say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah.
We want to hear this.
I came to this meeting with the mindset of after reading the memorandum here on the soccer information from Mr. Morales of being in support of that, playing on the turf field with the lights and with all the equipment that we already have there. Understanding the positions that I've heard on UIL, I would prefer to be able to make it a UIL program today. I just don't know that that's possible with the time frame that we have. As I was printing up just a couple things, even just coaches certification. There's a lot of hoops to jump through to be able to get Mr. Research. Now it's yours. Check out the highlighted parts. It's really cool. I think there's so many hoops to be able to jump through from UIL standpoint that's something that's not going to be appropriate for this year. But I look at these kids that have talked here for the last few meetings at the public meeting, and I think about how many people that I talk to in business life that are absolutely scared to death to stand up in front of anybody and say anything. These kids have been impressive to get up and state their position, from the heart, exactly what their thoughts are. And I so appreciate what y'all have said, and the stamina and fortitude that it takes to get up in front of a group, not just the 8 of us, but your family and your friends, and that is, it pushes me towards, recommending this option right here, even knowing that doing something UIL is not going to work this year, but giving them the opportunity to be able to some reward, to be able to prove themselves, to be able to get out on the field and play with a Ranger uniform on. So I would make a motion to accept the soccer recommendation from the administration, but the only real option in here was turf field. Just put a big circle around playing on the turf field.
With the intention to file.
With the intention,
in
just like the
February.
recommendation,
Yes.
1-year club, file for UIL on January the 15th, then go from there.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Okay, if not, I call for a vote. All those in favor of Wes's motion in the second, as presented? Need a vote? All opposed? Motion carries 4-3. We will have club soccer this year and put press on for UIL in January.
Thank you, Tim.
I'll leave it to come watch a soccer game.
I will, but I'll be in the press box.
I'll be
with
wearing
the
a big
heater.
heavy coat.
Okay?
Guys, you were very impressive, and I really appreciate. You learned something about how boards operate and how to do things correctly, so I do appreciate that.
And I just, yeah, you guys were great.
Thank you for your
Appreciate it.
dedication.
Appreciate your passion.
You guys planted the seeds, okay?
Okay?
Okay, old men looking at what's happening here, you planted those seeds.
We all did it.
You did. You got it. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
It's not like you haven't anything else going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't. Seen Yeah, we'll do a budget amendment. That's the only way it's gonna happen. Yeah, she's got to come in here, Maribel. She's out there celebrating. She was one that I was thinking about coaching the girls with.
Yeah, that's what I thought. When we hire her.
Yeah, when we hire her, then she could coach.
I had that on my mind.
Thanks for doing that, moving away. Our time had
I
that
think
took
it was
us.
the best for everybody.
I think we got to win with.
We'll go on with move on to our reports, superintendent's report. Mr. Morales.
The first one is resignations. I need to report that Angela Eiler has resigned from her junior high LER reading teacher position. Training hours, trustee training hours, if you'll go through your booklet, basically the very first part of that tells you new board meeting training hours that are required for first years of service. I think we got a couple there, so they need to look at that. And then on the next page, it shows you experienced members and how many hours they need and what the classes need to be. And then after that, the pages have your hours in there, so you can see kind of what you have. and what you've taken, so you'll know.
Who do we need to contact TASB for something that's missing?
Yeah,
Or
you
just
could-
Maribel?
let Maribel know. She talks to
You
Tasby
can
about
go
every
to
day.
your own TASB account and request that information be
Because
input.
the Canyon deal in
Or I
May
can do it.
is, I was at that except for the very last session.
Okay.
So
I may have
missed
missed his
the
name,
last
so
time.
Okay.
he was there.
The canyon section, that everybody else would too.
Yeah.
I'll add your hours.
Okay, thank you.
And then I also need to let you know that the Panhandle Area Association of School Boards having their fall 2021 meeting October 7th, 6:30 to 9, and I believe that's at Region 16. If you wish to attend that, let me know, and I will go with you. Softball field updates. Darren, what I gotta do? Oh, you got it over there. Okay, this is not the softball field. This is another report I'm doing. This is our new science building. Just wanted to show you where it's at. I don't know if you can tell where it's at by where it's sitting. It's right behind Williams there. We are getting, oh, you got inside it. I didn't know that. Their science tables are on their way. I believe Reed's already ordered those. We thought we were going to have a lecture area and a lab area, but it's all lab. We'll have the teachers make arrangements for when they're taking their classes in there for experiments. This is a great addition to us. I think Alan's ordered the ramp already so that we can walk up in there. I think the electrical has already been dug, and so has the plumbing. So our goal is to maybe have this ready by the beginning of next semester. Fully functional, ready to go. Great addition to the district though, with ESSER money. This was ESSER money also, federal money. Okay, here's softball. You can see they got the block. It's there now. They got one door up for one of the dugouts.
Like last month's wall.
Well, nobody needs to go around there because some could fall on you. But you can see that the press box has already been raised 7-8 inches. I believe that the other building we kept, we went and boxed it up, and it was raised also, the cement on that. This is the visitors dugout that they're working on. This was taken today, I think. Was it today, Darren, or yesterday?
Yes, sir. Today.
Today, yeah. And you can see the poles are there, so the netting will be the next thing, and then the cement behind it. If you really get to the location and look at that, just raising that 7 inches at both those places, you'll see how much the water was going the wrong direction. So we'll have the cement going away, but it's going to be a real nice facility, and I'm glad we did the upgrade to it. Yeah, the red building there, that's what I want to look at. They closed in that window and they closed in the back one. They raised up the floor 7 inches, and now we'll use it for a tornado shelter, and that way it kept us from the expense of moving all the electricity that was on that wall. I was talking to the construction guy today, and he thought that all this block may be laid by the end of this week, by Friday. So they'll have all the dugouts in there and everything else. But really happy with it. I mean, there's been some stop. We couldn't get blocked for a long time, and that was the holdup. Jim Powell is doing a good job of keeping up with everything that's going out there. Doing a good job of keeping up with the bills and getting people paid. And I think it's a pretty good project right now. Is Alan in here? He's not, is he?
Be back in the back.
Anything you want to say about the project or the science wing deal?
Nothing really to add, other than, like I said, it's going good. There's probably gonna be a few little things that we're gonna have to do after the dugouts run, and, you know, the line up going to the scoreboard, as far as communication lines, so that's gonna have to be all relayed. Just part of having to do all that, so it's not very
Get the drainage problem fixed?
We hope.
All right.
Find out if it rains.
Yeah, if it rains again, we'll find out.
We'll
No,
check
we
it
won't.
out.
As far as the portable, Electricity's about 90% done, all the outside stuff's done, we're just waiting to figure out a day or an afternoon they can come, we're not shutting the school down, so they tie in. Plumbing is complete, other than the lab tables being tied in. The ramp should be here hopefully within 2 weeks. Get that going. As soon as the electricity, we get waxed and hopefully be ready for that.
And I don't know if you all knew, but at Williams, what happened, they did have some science labs at one time, and I think they got converted into classrooms and non-functional, and so they weren't being able to do experiments.
They never were complete.
They weren't completed? Look, I didn't know what the issue
They're
was.
not completed and that was we had some electrical put in the floors for lab tables. They never run any water, drains. Do budget. Don't have a budget on the building at that time.
All right, thank you. All right, we're ready for campus.
Okay, campus reports. First one up is Perryton High School. Yes, he's not.
No.
Is he
Is he there?
He's here.
He went somewhere, but he's here.
All's good in high school.
Well, if not, we'll move on to, and come back. Mr. Felix, anything to add to your report?
Nothing back.
Okay. All right. Everything going okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Junior high report?
There he is.
There he is.
I do not have anything to report. All is well at Perryton High School, especially after this.
Doesn't look good when you start hiding.
Impressed with your,
Doesn't look good when you start hiding in the front of the meeting.
impressed with your attendance.
I got stuck out there at Adriana's desk watching the computer because it was packed.
Ross, attendance is higher.
Yes, sir. We 4 week was 97%. That's up 2.5% over last year. We're down maybe 0.2 of a point at this point, so probably 96.8.
Still fantastic. That's good.
That's good.
And we have had some quarantining too, so that probably contributed to that. But no, we're doing well. All right, we started.
Thank you. All right, junior high report?
We're good.
We're good. Thank you.
Everything's good. Thanks for coming.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Williams.
It's all good at Williams.
All right.
You're not gonna talk about your science lab, huh?
I put it in my report,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
but it's good. We've already got the electricity is done, the water's done. We've ordered the ramps, and they will be here in October. The lab station will be here November 1st. They're gonna ship them, and then we'll be ready to get after it. Kids are excited,
Great.
so we'll make a field trip when it's done.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Chisholm, your report.
We have had 3 new students enrolled this week, so our attendance is up a little since I turned in that report, but everything else is going great, all right.
Okay, thank you. All right, Kinder, Ms. Wilson.
I don't have anything to add.
Everything going well?
It's going.
Okay, all right.
Have any board members had a chance to go to the pre-K building?
Have not.
Just on the outside.
We're working on it.
Yeah, I'm working
Okay,
on
you're
it.
working, get somebody there, because it's a really nice
Okay,
facility for those kids.
all right. All right, that's all on our campus reports. Director reports will begin with communications and safety. Darren?
Well, nothing to add, a few things to subtract. I should have known better than to give you such specific COVID stats 4 days in advance. Things have changed a bit, but all still very good compared to the past. So everything else is good.
Okay, great. Anything on the Ranger Roundup Learning Center? Not here. Okay. All right, Mr. Throckmorton, anything on technology?
Nothing to add.
Okay. All right. Ms. Walker, on our healthy meals to our
I
children?
am here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
The
thanks,
food show is Thursday, so, and I'm very glad to be back and everything's running.
We're glad to have you back. Thank you. Okay.
Our girls did great, that's all I can say. Our managers stepped up and it was It was a start of the year we didn't want to have any luck again, but
Yeah.
we made it through and everything's good.
And I will have to brag on her workers because I was really sweating it with 2 top people out in that office, and they picked up the slack. I appreciate them.
Okay. Maintenance report, Alan?
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add. All right, we'll move on to our curriculum and instruction reports. Dr. Rock?
I do not have anything to add.
Okay. All right, Doug, you're up.
I don't have anything to add.
I was going to say, we need to put it over the bases. There we go.
I got a few things to point out.
Okay.
How the hell's changed since I left?
First is our disbursements reports. The pending checks for September, I think, is on page 36, 37. See those. And then checks paid for December starts on page 39, which goes for 8 pages of those. And then the checks pending for December, another one on 46. And checks paid for December, another one on 47. 4 pages of those. And then the complete disbursements for August, 32 pages of those start on page 53. As always, you have a question on any one of them, give us a heads up. We'll try to have an answer for you. Okay, moving on. Our financial report starts on page 85. Our cash position and all the accounts on page 86. See all those are the amounts that's reconciled at the end of the fiscal year, end of August, and they're agreed to our book balance and reports on the next page. Our general operating funds, GL ending balance is $260,349, and CDs of $7,565,000, and total funds of $7,828,058. And a CD schedule on page 88 is attached there. Interest and sinking funds, page 89, balance of $248,407.84, includes CDs of $243,093. Of course, that's after we made the debt service payments on August 13th, so we'll start building it back up for next year, the liquor payments. The schedule of CDs is on page 90 there. We've rolled everything over, the excess funds, into one CD and set it to mature a year from now to get a higher rate there, 0.4%, so $243,093, which will be for next year's payment. Our cafeteria fund balance at this time, $9,309.82. Special education fund, $274,356.16, includes CDs of $200,000. Activity funds of $364,936.21, includes the CDs of $335,992.60. Schedule of those on page 95. Ranger Roundup, $10,463.17. Capital projects funds, our Turk project account, same as it's been for a while, $121,482.14. Okay, next we'll get into our financial statements. You can see this first page on page 99. I've done some projections. The financial statements see our revenue realized for the attached statements for our general fund, say the first column, $20,801,000, that's the financial statement. And I'm subtracting sort of an estimate of $50,000, which is probably maybe a little high. The $29,000 is probably going to be right on line with our consolidation revenue to be booked. Transfers to the food service fund to balance out their fund balance to zero, so you can see how that would go to the, it's an out amount in 199 and an in amount in 240. That's a balance. And Ranger Roundup, we'll talk about that here in a minute, 52,000 to round that up. The maintenance inventory adjustment, I think is a decrease of 20, but I think that's gonna be overstated, because our adjustment was about $7,000. We've got that booked now, so that's gonna be a little better and flexible in it. So all these adjustments will probably result in about a net decrease in our fund balance of a little less than 400,000, maybe about 375 or so. That would put our fund balance, we ended last year's fund balance at a little under 7 million, which is 6,940,34. So that would put us about 6,500,000, 6,550 right in the neighborhood here. That's projection right now. We'll have it pretty well exact by the October meeting. So.
Was the state required 3.5 months in the fund balance, or what?
Well,
What does it want? Or?
It's a recommendation to have, see, we need about 4 months of operations there, at least,
So
until we start getting tax money in.
Yeah.
So we need enough money to operate for the months of September, October, November, and December, basically. And, which is on a budget of 21 million, you can figure that. I think we're at the optimum. I mean, we're doable. Our fund balance has been higher over the years in the past, but it's been lower too. I'd hate to, there's always some emergency that can come up that's needed. You need a little bit of a cushion to dip into, like a rainy day fund, if you call it. Because there could be something that pops up that we'll have to, we could have some kind of tornado that would have a huge deductible to pay for. You just all kinds of things. You just never know what can happen. So, but I think we're real adequate in the range between 6 and 7 million. I would hate to put too much lower than that. Our food service fund is we're going to show a loss of about $180,000. It's but I think our revenue rates next year. You said that claim was for 10 days was about $60,000. So I think the reimbursement rates are going to be better next year.
They're way higher.
So I think we're maybe turning we had a part of that loss was an inventory adjustment that we had decreased the inventory at the end of the prior year to the current year. We adjusted that about $30,000. That's included in that decrease too.
That was due to the fact that when we went grab and go, we did really good 1 month, and then as COVID got worse, they quit coming.
So what we will do, I think we've pretty much got food service all adjusted. There's an adjustment to be on commodity revenue and expense, but that will wash. The revenue and the expense will equal. So we've got that, unless there's something else pops up. It's going to be pretty close to what we have. Our debt service fund should be exact. This is just right in line with what we've been projecting for our budget and everything. We decreased our fund balance of $48,000, and that's primarily due to tax collection percentages. We budgeted a higher collection rate than we actually realized. So, which is good. We have a cushion, and we raised our rate a little bit in anticipation of that, making sure we have enough money. Well, we raised it from 9 cents to 11 cents for the new year. But that puts our fund balance there at $248,000, which is fine there too on that. And I'll talk some more about when we get into the Ranger Roundup area in the back. I've got some schedules in there. But our revenues, they posted our near final settle up on our foundation revenue. And of course, we had an adjustment of our decrease in our ADA, and then the decrease, we talked about the deal with the T2 numbers back in February. And so about $700,000 of our revenue has been adjusted to a liability to be deferred revenue, basically. So it takes it out of revenue, and it's going to be revenue for the next year, because we haven't earned it. And that's reflected in this adjustment here. We've already adjusted that. So it's going to be I think these numbers are going to be real close to what we have, but But these revenues are $20,801,000. You can see on that, on our schedule there on page 100, and our expenditures, $20,939,000, subject to these additional items. So you realize that includes amending our budget several times to buy the school buses and some of the capital items and some of the things that we did during the year. So, it's close to, if we hadn't done that, we were close to being a break-even deal, which is a tribute to how we tried to keep people to their budget and don't spend what we don't have budgeted for, those kind of things too. And to some extent, it's helped that we've had some of the things that we were going to spend money on, that we used ESSER monies and school improvement funds. It sort of took up the slack there, which has been a real benefit for that too. But you can see our page 101 is the capital items. We spent almost $500,000 out that money on capital projects, include all those, the remodel project, the prepaid building, the softball field, and that amount is going to be, this is what's been incurred up through August 31st, and there'll be more to be incurred. This will be like a asset, work in progress type of deal on our fixed assets. So it's not in service yet, but it's split between the 2 years, so you'll have an additional amount spent in the new year to add into that. So we had about 70,000 left over that we had appropriated that we didn't spend there. And then the financial statement numbers, you see on two, our budgeted revenue was 22 million, and our revenue realized is 20. So we did all this with only realizing 93% of our budgeted revenue, which is, I think, pretty good. Our expenditures, you can see on the following page, our budgeted expenditures, appropriations were 22,547,000, and we expended 20,939,000 plus some additional adjustments that we disclosed on. So we spent about 93% of our budget. We're going to be in good shape in all our functions. We can't go over any of the functions, so I think we're in good shape there in all of it.
How did you estimate fuel costs when we're talking about the way we changed our buses and our bus schedule and everything else? How did we handle fuel costs? Because right now I'm seeing big increases in a lot of stuff we're doing.
Well, we were paying for the fuel all along. We bought the fuel and all the board used it.
But I mean, this year, Doug, as work projections on your budget, how did we do that? Did we just take last year's number? Did we put some kind of escalation on it?
Well, I budgeted for fuel cost and anticipating an increase in fuel, and which is sort of what I normally do. The biggest variable on all that stuff was the cost that all the board was charging for our extra cooker trips. And you can see on one of those handouts there just for athletics how high that was. And that took a lot of time to sort of fine tune that. But each item was just more of a projection. We have actual payroll numbers, and then we look at what we spend, and we use factors in anticipation of any changes in it, just like we would do for any other budget.
The Europeans are paying $25 an MCF for heating right now, so I'd hate to see your escalation on that.
Too bad we can't ship some of that over there.
That's exactly right.
Clarity buses are right around the corner.
Yeah.
They're getting it from Russia now, aren't they?
They were getting it from Russia. Russia decided to do something else.
Okay, moving on to our food service fund. Like we said, we're hoping for bigger and better things next year. Our revenues in the food service fund, $1,043,000, and expenditures of $1,224,000. Then our debt service funds, pretty much right in line with what we projected. You see that on page 109. Financial statements so 110 and 111. Capital projects fund, that's just we budgeted the transfer for that field turf project. You know, we included that again in the new year, so we'll have another 40,000 to add to it, keep building that up. Plus we roll over the interest income, you know, to reinvest in CDs. Hey, Ranger Roundup, we, on the financial statement there, you can see, as one of the revenues, you can see that item, other resources. That is the payment we received from the Alcatraz Hospital District. You know, they were a participant in through, that was 50% of the loss up through May or May 1st, I guess it was, of 2021. So we finally got that payment in August. And so that's booked in there. So we're looking at, and one of the other big things is the state revenue item. You also might have saw that in the paper. The money we got from the Texas Workforce Commission. So that's included in a revenue item there. It's included in this $100,000 number there. The other amount is TRS on behalf. It's a calculated amount that's included in there. So the hospital district would have been better off to stay with us through August. We benefited by them getting out in May, which, you know, they would have had less to subsidize if we were working through the end of the year.
They lost a smart guy on the board.
Yeah. They got out too early, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
But I think, so our subsidy, like I projected on that one deal, is gonna be to cover this amount on 114. We haven't made that adjustment, that about $52,000 is gonna be our part to contribute in there to zero out, to make them sort of whole in their fund balance. So, but moving forward, I put in my budget schedule, then you can see the detail of expenditures there, and I think we're pretty close. I know there has been a couple of items of accounts payable to add to that since we ran this, so it's going to be right in that $52,000, $53,000 range, I think, is what we'll end up with. But to make their budget balance, and this is a budget report here, I've inquired you can see this sort of gives you a comparison to last year's numbers, this year's budget, this year's actual numbers, and then next year's budget. So of course we're not projecting any grant income from the state because we don't know about that at all. So we're projecting revenues of $285,000, $33,000 on behalf, and which will result in $33,000 there added to that. But to make this all work, we're looking at possibly a transfer from the general fund of maybe $250,000, which is, I wanted y'all to be aware of that. That's more than what we budgeted. But all the other items of expense, we won't have a subsidy from the county, and we won't have that other extra money. Now, they're working on some grants, but you can't count on those until they're realized. But this is basically, the budget is pretty similar to what's been done. There's nothing, we cover what our payroll is, and then we project all these other items there, and there's nothing unusual in it, nothing added on. We're projecting expenditures in this budget of $568,000, and the current budget was, you can see, $564,000, so it's right in line. Now, some of them might not be spent, but to sort of keep in mind down the road that's something to possibly we'll need to address.
Yeah, the community needs this. I just don't know how we're gonna get more people involved in supporting it. And that's gonna be a challenge, and we jumped in here, so.
Yeah, if it costs the district $250,000, it makes you really realize, are we getting value for that and everything, which,
Yeah, I think I think we're gonna end up having to do some other things here just to get support of it. Anyway. Other things.
okay, and last but not least, unless there's some questions, our enrollment report is on page 123. Our enrollment as of October 21st, I guess. Let's see, 2,049 students compared to 2,130 a year ago. 2,049 is better than opening day of 1937. Pretty healthy increase in enrollment there.
Good.
Any questions, comments?
Yeah, one comment, Joe, I think we're gonna have to watch Doug. He's starting to use the Reed Cates excuse, that everything's okay in the financial world. I think he's starting a short time on us. Short time. Okay.
I only have a few more of these to do. You realize that?
It's like you enjoy them a whole lot.
No more budgets to do, but a few more board reports.
No, he's gonna come back in March for our review, it's okay.
Any other questions for Doug? No, we'll move on to our consent agenda items, minutes of the prior meetings.
Move to approve.
Second? Second. Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the prior meetings as read. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Discussion or action items. Mr. Morales, you have a recommendation on consideration and possible action on hiring personnel.
Yes, I recommend that we hire the below personnel on a one-year probationary certified teacher contract for 2021-2022 school year. Maribel Murillo.
She has recommendations.
Who's that?
Anyway, as a language arts teacher and reading teacher at Perryton Junior High.
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. On the votes that count, 7-0. 7-0.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, consideration and possible action on district improvement plan. Dr. Rock.
Yes, so we met with I wasn't there, but the committee met with the district improvement plan. I know Shannon Jackson, the president, and I believe Mr. Morales was there as well last Wednesday. So we have revised the campus improvement plan, and if you will go by the goals and objectives, hopefully you notice that we did add the mission and the vision on here as well, so we were excited to add that. Do you have any questions on any of these? Do you want to ask yours?
I asked
Joe?
mine a while ago, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I did have two questions for Dr. Rock. One of them was on this, on page 138. How are we selected for this national assessment reading thing? And she says we're just selected and we have to do what they say. And then I think the biggest thing I had were on the 5-year improvement plan and the 3-year technology plan. I asked her if we were on track. She said that's why the 5-year improvement plan was back in there, because we're not on track. And then, but we are on the technology plan, which I would wholeheartedly agree with. Wes, you and I have been on this board a long time. We've still been talking about a 5-year improvement plan since we've been around. So it's something we need to do, we need to look at. And Dr. Rock pointed out, I believe you said, get our priorities listed.
Correct. So we would like to go ahead and put together the subcommittees to work on this priority plan. However, through the ESSER committees that we've been meeting with, I feel that we will be able to provide progress on the evaluation piece with the high school receiving the doors, Perryton Kinder receiving the windows, and those have all been approved already. So I think we're on our way. We just couldn't mark that we were on track on this until we actually start seeing the construction work happening. So so.
One other question, once this 5-year improvement plan is developed, will that be brought to the board?
Yes, so any revisions that we make, and of course, that'll be part of the evaluation, so
Okay.
I can make a note and we can share it with,
Okay.
in my update as
I
well.
think it's something we need to do.
We do need to.
For visionary purposes and planning has been talked before. Okay, any other questions for Dr. Rock? Do we need a motion on this?
It does have to be approved.
Okay. All right,
Motion. Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the improvement plan? If not, all those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. All right, we now move on to discussion and possible action on selecting governmental financial advisor for Perryton ISD. Mr. Morales.
Doug and I visited about this several times, and if you remember, guys, I invited John Blackburn from Live Oak to come do a presentation to us, and then I invited who we're currently with as Government Capital, Jake Lawrence. They both did presentations. See, they both told you we need to possibly keep our eyes on our bonds, and Wes said we need to keep up with the interest rates and what's going on and whether we're going to call those bonds or not. I'm just going to take, Doug and I are probably comfortable with John Blackburn of the two, because John was with us on the junior high project. He was the selling of that and stuff. And the other thing is, he is the one who really come up with some ideas that we really liked on what to do and how to do it. Jake came in afterwards and tried to save that vote, but my recommendation, I think Doug's recommendation, is that we go with John Blackburn with Live Oak and see if we can do some positive things in this district.
I think I asked this question last time, is the new firm got enough weight? I mean, I think I see some financial problems coming.
They're working with a lot of school districts. I don't think they're quite as big a firm.
So they go down, we all go down together.
Is he gonna stay active with us? Cause you know, he first approached us to try to build his business, I'm sure, knowing us from his time with Government Capital, so. Once he gets our business, you know, I'm still gonna be active with him.
I think he will. I think he will at least get along. I've got along with him really well over the years. He seems to know his business well.
And he trained Jake, I hate to say that.
Jake told me when he was gone, he hated that, because he's his mentor. He proved even they worked together and all that kind of stuff there, so.
I think John's been a very big help to us over the years. And I certainly appreciate when you said, I mean, he's the one that came to us with some options, and we brought Government
Ideas.
Capital back in saying, hey, we've got this from the new guys, what do y'all have?
What do you think?
And they were kind of playing catch up in the end. They didn't initiate the contact with us like John did, which I think indicates to me at least a little bit of aggressive attitude to step forward and do what we need to do.
Yeah, now is the time to do this.
Now it's time to get
That's what he told us.
ourselves started.
We need to get on
Well,
this.
we
So
said this
Get
couple
started
months.
on it. There's a point in time where it's a no-brainer to do the regular refi when there's no negative arbitrage. So, which so, at that date, which I think you gotta make a board decision by May or something, he was saying.
90 days previous.
Yeah, 90 days.
And,
Although we can start with the negative arbitrage ahead of time,
Right.
which is something that I think we're gonna rely pretty hard if we approve this on John to be able to point to a sweet spot in the middle of when we need to pull the trigger.
it's like projecting the cost of interest rates, you just don't know.
We have some ideas, just exact, you don't know.
Treasury bonds went up today, I believe, a little bit, so who knows what they're gonna do.
And the Fed came out and said without full employment, they don't think that they're really gonna start moving stuff very rapidly, but it doesn't take a lot of movement on the Fed's part to ripple down pretty quickly to what we're trying to do.
Yeah. We're still refinancing debt. We need to do it timely.
Just think with the amount of spending they're doing, just a little bit of increase in rates, what that would do to the deficit. It's mind-boggling.
Massive.
Talk about those
Massive.
improvements in numbers and the interest rates on it. It is my personal.
Oh, you think it's out of control?
I do.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I think, guys, we just have to make the decision, either we stay with Live Oak or we change companies. Because I had to sign a piece of paper basically telling the other company we're getting away from them because there's a 30-day or something.
Yeah, you haven't sent this letter.
No, I have not. It's just sitting here. I have not done anything with it. I'm waiting for
Board approval.
waiting for you to give me advice on what to do.
Okay, Mr. Ross has presented this along with Doug about moving our financial advisor to Live Oak. Do I hear a motion on that?
Motion. Second.
Have a motion and a second to move Live Oak as our financial advisor. Do I have any further discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. One other thing we need to discuss before we dismiss tonight, our October meeting. Looking at the 3rd and 4th weeks of October, unfortunately on Tuesday, October the 19th, I have a dental procedure I have to have done in Emerald, so I'm gonna be out that day. Then the week of the 25th through, all the way through November the 2nd, I'm gonna be in Tennessee chasing grandkids. We can meet when we want to, I just won't be here. Mr. Morales came up with the thought that would, since we're not in the basketball season, that we could possibly meet on Thursday, October the 21st.
Good. Anybody else good with that?
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
All right,
It was okay.
if that's the case, we'll meet Thursday, October 21st at 6 o'clock. Is there anything else before you drop before the board this time?
I feel a little silly talking about Doug's short time, and Joe, you're gone all the time anymore. I don't know what's going on.
I don't, yeah,
He's retired.
I'm retired. Okay. All right, if not, I'll declare this meeting adjourned.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You didn't do it on Tuesday the 19th because I have a COVID.